Hi paper crafters, in this video I'm going to share with you a money-saving hot foiling hack, and that is how you can fulfill your stash of foiling dies at a low price or even for free. And of course I'm not gonna limit myself to just talking and giving advice. We're also going to make a card from beginning to end. So let's get started with the foiling right away. This is my Gemini foil press that I'm using, and this frame die comes with the machine. This is a cotton foil type of die, which means that unlike regular foiling dies, it also does die cutting. So let's heat it up and send it through the machine just as normal, and I'll explain you how I came up with the idea. For this project I'm going to use the gold hot foil. This is the color that works best with the pattern papers that I have chosen. And then I'm also going to use the milk cardstock. The one I'm using is by Creative Expressions. I have sent the platform through the Gemini Junior, and here you can see that we have a frame totally die cut. I'm peeling off the foil, and you see that I also got a nice foil transfer, and we also have a debossed pattern there. I just wanted to show you now that this die can work without the foiling at all. You can just send it through the machine and you have the shape die cut, and you also have that debossed beautiful pattern. You can ink it up, or in this case I'm going over it with the wax paint. At this point I thought that this die looks strangely familiar to me and that I have seen something like it before. So I went through my stash and this is what I have found. This is an old die set by Spellbinders, and this one is called Victorian Alphabet. You see that these dies also do the die cutting and the etching at one go, and you can also add the inks or the gilding wax to them, so why not try and add the hot foiling as well. The important thing to know about these dies is that they are thinner than the regular foiling dies. You remember they were invented before the hot foiling machine. So what we have to do is we have to add a few additional shims that are just the scrap pieces of cardstock, and this way we are going to compensate the thickness of the sandwich. This time I'm going to do the foiling and die cutting at two goes, and this way you'll be able to use these dies with any foiling machine that you have. I've sent the platform through the machine, and now you see that I have the foiling and the debossing, and now we have to do the die cutting as well. So now I have to place all the dies back where they belong, and I have to tape them down. It is very easy to do because we have that debossed pattern and the die just clicks into the right space. You can't be wrong with it. When I have all the dies taped down, I'm going to build up a die cutting sandwich, and I'm going to send it through my die cutting machine. And this is how the die cut letters look like. This foiling really takes them to a completely new level. Just to compare, this is the look of those letters when they are just die cut and etched without any foiling. And this is what they look like when foiled. By the way, these dies are currently on sale at Spellbinders, and after they are sold out they will be gone. So it's a great chance to get those dies at a reduced price and try them with the foiling as well. You can find a link to this sale in the description below, as well as on my blog, and I'm also going to link up other dies that also have that etching and foiling option, so you can check them out. I'm also greatly encouraging you to look through your stash, and if you like Spellbinders, you can find a whole lot of the dies that you can give the second life by trying and do the foiling with them. Now when I have the letters die cut, let's go ahead and put the card together. For the background of my card, I'm going to use one of the papers from the pattern paper pad by Graphic 45, and this one is called Ocean Blue. I'm loving this set so much. I have already made 2 big shaker cards with these papers, and if you want to know how to make them, you can check out my previous tutorial. I'm using a 5x7 die to kind of frame the portion of a pattern that I like, and then I'm going to trim off the extra paper and send this through my die cutting machine. You can of course use the paper trimmer for that. So this panel is going to be the front of my card. The next step would be adding the sentiment to a card, but before I do that, I'm going to back up each letter with 2 more die cuts, and this way I'm going to create more dimension. Since the paper is quite busy and the letters also have foiled patterns on them, I need that extra thickness to help letters to stand out more. So now my letters look just like chipboard, they're quite nice and thick, and I backed up the frame with more die cuts as well. The phrase I'm going to build up is I see a U, and a nice thing about it is I have no repeating letters, and this way I have to do less die cutting. To put all the letters in one straight line, I'm going to tape down my panel onto the surface, and then I'm going to tape down the ruler as well, and then I can line up all the letters. Next, I'm just going to use my liquid glue, it's Ranger Multimedia Matte, and I'm going to stick down all the letters one by one. I'm picking up the letters, applying some adhesive and sticking it back onto its place. After I have attached the letters, I can remove the ruler, and then I can attach the Y that hangs down the line. And now I have the sentiment ready. Next, I'm going to add the foiled frame, but instead of just sticking it down on top of my card front, I'm going to tuck it behind the seashells and the starfish. So I'm placing the frame on top of the card, and with a pencil I'm marking the spots where the frame is overlapping the seashells. Then I'm using the craft knife and my scissors to cut out the seashell along the outline just between those 2 pencil marks. This is what it should look like. I'm going to cut out the starfish and the smaller seashell outlines exactly the same way, but this time I'm using the craft knife since the pattern is a bit more intricate. If you have a pair of nice, small, really sharp manicure scissors, these would work just as fine. Now when I have my shapes partially cut out, I can tuck the frame behind them. But before I add the frame, I'm going to add a kind of picture inside it. Here I have a pack of postcards and journaling cards. They are from the same collection, Ocean Blue, and they are the perfect match for the patterned papers. So I have chosen one of the journaling cards, and I'm going to stick it down behind the frame. I'm simply applying some double-sided tape at the wrong side of the frame, then I'm framing my picture and then trimming off the excess paper. To attach the picture to the card, I'm using the liquid glue, and this way I can move it around before the glue dries. I'm tucking this picture behind the seashells and sticking it down. This extra dimension on a frame also helps it to stand out a bit more. To add one more tiny dimensional touch, I'm going to add a couple of foam squares behind that starfish, and then I'm sticking them down as well. To create a card base, I'm going to use Petrol blue cardstock by Creative Expressions. It's a great quality cardstock and at a good price too. I trimmed it down to 8.5 by 7.25 inches, and then I'm folding it in half. This way the card base is going to be a bit larger than my panel, and I can create a thin border all around it. Next, I'm going to apply some double-sided tape at the wrong side of my card panel. Then I'm centering the panel carefully on my card front, and once I'm happy with the placement, I'm pressing it down. And now my card is nearly finished. There is only one tiny little touch left. I'm going to rummage through the journaling cards one more time, and this time I'm going to choose the large one. There are vertical ones and horizontal ones. For my card, I'm going to need a horizontal one. I'm going to stick it down inside the card to add my personal message. By the way, it has ocean blue written on it, which rhymes with my sentiment on the front of the card, which is nice. And now my I See You ocean blue card is completely finished. I really hope you enjoyed this tutorial and you find some of the ideas useful. I'm encouraging you to look through your stash and find the dies that do etching and try them for foiling, and this way you can get a whole new stash of foiling dies for free. You can also check out the link below, go to Spellbinders sale and find some of this type of dies at a reduced price. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe and healthy, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye bye!